Hi everybody, it's Honest John. I like watching people fight. When I was a kid, I used to actually like to fight, but then as I grew older, I learned that punches really hurt, and you don't shake them off so quick. So I stopped fighting a long time ago. But I still like to watch a fight. The best fight I ever saw was not between two professional fighters. It was two homeless guys on Hollywood Boulevard. No skill, no technique, but boy, they had lots of aggression and enthusiasm. Now, I grew up a boxing fan. Used to listen to boxing before we had a TV in the house. Used to listen to boxing on the radio. I remember listening to fights with Floyd Patterson and Ingemar Johansson and Sugar Ray Robinson. And then once we got a TV, well, Saturday Night Fights, that was what we were watching. Didn't matter what anybody, because my dad loved boxing too, so it didn't matter what anybody else thought. We were watching Saturday Night Fights. And I used to love Rocky Marciano and Sugar Ray Robinson and being from Rhode Island, of course, later on, big fan of Vinny Pazienza. And of course, my all-time idol will always be Muhammad Ali. Now, if I tried to give you a list of all of my favorite fighters through the years, this would be a very long video and it would be pretty boring. So I'm not going to do that. You can fill in your own names. Chances are, if you loved them, I loved them too. But while I was growing up with boxing, over in Asia, people were growing up with their own forms of martial arts. You know, karate and judo and kung fu. And I've even heard that they used to have underground matches where people would actually fight to the death. I don't know if it's true, but I've heard that. And they did have this thing called the Budokan, where fighters with different specialties would all come and they'd all fight each other, and it was kind of cool. Ironically, the first mixed martial arts fight that Americans were introduced to was probably one of the worst fights of all time. Muhammad Ali versus Antonio Inoki. Inoki was a grappler, a Japanese grappler, and what he did was he sat his butt down in the middle of the ring and hoped that Ali would come in close enough where he could wrap up his legs and take him down and submit him. Of course, Ali wasn't buying that bullshit, so all he did was circle the ring all night. So it was awful. And maybe that's why it took so long for mixed martial arts to become a sport that people liked here. I mean, that fight would have set it back years. But one of the things that happened during the 70s, during the late 70s and early 80s, was Kung Fu films became pretty popular here in the United States. They were kind of like a fad. And I remember Saturday afternoon, Kung Fu Theater, lots of cheesy films. But Bruce Lee, anything with him would be fucking great. And he also devoted his life to spreading Asian martial arts all around the world. So even though it took a while, mixed martial arts is here in the United States, and it is fucking huge. Some people think that it will replace boxing, and they're just wrong about that. MMA will never replace boxing. Boxing may stagger and stumble sometimes, but it will not die. Now, it could get a huge shot in the arm if Pacquiao and Mayweather would come to an agreement to fight. I mean, it would be so fucking amazing. The whole world would be focused on that fight. They should do it just for the love of the sport. The sport has treated them really well. They should get past their differences and give something back. Now, that's a side issue, though. Let me get back to what I was talking about. I loved mixed martial arts right from when I was introduced to it. First time I saw it, I thought, this is great. And initially, I was surprised that there were a lot of boxing fans that don't like MMA and a lot of MMA fans that don't like boxing. But I think I kind of understand that. See, the MMA fans who don't like boxing, they don't like the fact that you can just grab and hold on to somebody and stop the action and get broken up by the referee. They think that's stupid. They think it's stupid to have a standing 8 count. Even if you're hurt, you got to defend yourself. That's the way they look at it. And of course, sometimes there'll be a boxing match where you get 2 fighters that just dance around all night, and even boxing fans hate that, but it confirms MMA fans' prejudices against boxing. Boxers who don't like MMA, well, they think that MMA strikers are technically way inferior to boxers. And grapplers and submission experts just turn them off. When a fight goes to the ground, all they see is 2 people rolling around, and they really don't appreciate the technique and science that's involved in that. And that's fine. I think that there's room in the world for both sports. I think they will both prosper, and I think they're both going to go on forever. But I just kind of wish that boxing fans could see what I see when I watch an MMA fight. And MMA fans could see a boxing match the way I do. Thanks for listening.